Hello, everyone. Today I'm joined by a special guest, Jennifer Gershon, with Considering It Done Organizing. And Jennifer, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Jennifer Gershon. I am a professional organizer. My business is in Newton and I service the greater Boston Metro West area. I bring to my organizing business over 20 years of experience as an elementary school teacher, a reading specialist, and literacy coach, and just really enjoy working with people and helping them with many different projects.
Awesome. Well, I know you do a lot of work with people in the downsizing phase of life. So tell us a little about the services you provide to clients going through that process.
Yeah, downsizing can be really challenging because over the course of a lifetime, many items, many cherished items are collected. And what I like to do is one of the biggest things is to listen and really hear what the client's goals are, what is going to be in place in a new setting, and help them really prioritize what can make it, what can't make it. I always create a plan, go over that plan with all that are involved to decide if items are going to be kept, donated, or discarded. I go through the home with the homeowner. And it really is, I help ask questions, but when it comes down to it, the decision lies with the owner. And I never force anyone to get rid of anything, and just help them to move forward and really embrace their new environment, their new living situation, so that it's really seen as something that's exciting rather than something that is sad, because I think sometimes people feel sadness during this process. Some people are excited to move on to the next phase, but you have to acknowledge all those different emotions and meet people where they're at.
Absolutely. I think the word that I usually use to describe it is bittersweet. Like
Hmm.
it's somewhat exciting because it's a new chapter, but it's also really, really tough, especially if you've been in this home for decades. Like that's your home. It's home. So
Yeah.
it's filled with all the things you love and memories. So taking all that into account, what advice do you have for your clients themselves or even the adult children of folks who are downsizing and who are kind of sometimes assisting with the process?
Yeah. So first of all, the advice that I have is to start as early as possible. Even if you're not considering downsizing in the next 6 months, year, it's never too early to start. It'll make it that much easier when you do start. I think that another critical component is really being clear about, what's going to be saved, what's going to be given to other family members, what's going to be donated, what needs to be discarded. Often as part of the service that I provide, I will take items to local charities for donation. And oftentimes that really helps people let go and say goodbye because they know it's going to good use within the community. And also just remembering that sometimes someone wants to keep something just because it's sentimental. And there are different options for how something can be kept. Perhaps, a photo album could be made, pictures taken of items that aren't able to be kept, so that it doesn't take up all that space. Let's see. Making a plan for the new space is really critical. We always want people to be safe in their new space, to not feel overcrowded or overwhelmed. So really thinking about drawing up, a diagram and actually measuring and placing things that are going to go there. And then also, hiring a professional when it's needed, because sometimes just having that other person come in, sometimes with adult children and their parents, it can get very emotional. Sometimes the children don't have a lot of time because they have their own families or maybe they live out of town. So bringing in a professional that can really help guide the process, even if it's just at the beginning to help make the plan, can really ease tensions and make things go a lot smoother. Another critical piece is for all involved is just to be compassionate and really recognize that you need to have patience. Decluttering, moving, it's exhausting, it's tiring. So just not being careful not to schedule, oh, we're going to come in and this weekend we're going to go through the whole house. That's a lot. So again, the earlier you can start, the better.
Yeah, I agree. We see that a lot. But people usually, more often than not, will significantly underestimate the amount of time and effort it takes to clear out a house of any size. There's a lot, and it takes time, and it's emotional too. So that can extend the time frame as well, because each item really needs to, you have to have the weight of that decision. What am I doing with each individual thing? So
Yeah.
that
And
adds.
I caution people when they want to just get a storage unit, because sometimes that's just kind of like out of sight, out of mind, moving some of the problems to another location, and really just ends up costing a lot of money. And then we still have to go through everything that's in there at some time, at some point. So if there's a way to try to um, not do that, I always try to work with people to not do that, because again, it's also an added expense.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah.
And you're right, it's just prolonging, it's just delaying the
Yeah.
work that will need to be done. I love your idea. I'm going to go back for a second. I love your idea of um, taking photos of items in the home and creating a photo album of that. I love that. I've never heard of that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, one thing that I've done frequently with some clients is also around, like, say, for example, a cherished wedding gown or wedding dress. And maybe there's no one else that's going to wear it in the family. The person that originally wore it really doesn't want to get used to it, but it's in this really huge box that takes up a lot of space and it's just tucked away. So what I've done for clients in the past is we've clipped a little piece of lace from the wedding dress, found a really pretty picture frame, mounted it, and put the lace in the picture frame, sometimes alongside a wedding photo, and put it out on a table. And now this ginormous box with something that wasn't going to be used again is now visible. The person can enjoy it, can relive the memories by having it in a picture frame. And then there are many wonderful organizations that will take donations of wedding gowns. So it's really a win-win for all involved.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I have that box in my
Yeah.
home and it is giant and just it serves no purpose, but I can't get rid of it.
Yeah. So
Um,
sometimes having a solution like that, again, when you bring in a professional, you often don't think of yourself. And I can make these different suggestions to people. And again, that might sit well with them and it might not. And if that idea doesn't sit well, then, we'll figure something else out.
yeah, but you're providing options and a third party view that's not attached to any of this stuff. So that's super helpful.
Yeah.
Any challenges that you see your clients facing that we haven't covered already?
One of the challenges oftentimes is that something is oftentimes I see this with furniture and then often with collections of things, is that people really overestimate the monetary value of something because it is so important to them. And there are many cases where items in the home do, have high value and you can sell them for some great money. But other times there are things that really are not worth a whole lot of money. And sometimes it's hard to admit that because it's such a cherished item. So again, something's really worth what somebody else will pay for it. That as a realtor,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Time and time again. But so that can be really tricky and challenging. The other really hard part is, just not having the space for those cherished items, because those things that are so important that represent a lifetime of memories that people want to bring with them. And then a last thing that I find really hard for people is that they oftentimes will want to get rid of something, but they're afraid of offending the person that gave it to them. Even if that person is no longer living, they think like, I have to hold on to this because I don't want Aunt Mary to get mad that I got rid of it.
That makes sense.
And one of the ways that I can really help with that is again, I use some wonderful local smaller charities where I know that the items are getting into people's hands that really, really need them. And sometimes having the conversation and saying, wouldn't Aunt Mary be so happy to know that you're so giving and you're so thoughtful that you're not using it, but you know that somebody else really could use it. And that does help them let go of it. But that can be really, really hard for people. They really struggle with, not wanting to upset a family member or a friend that gave them the item that they're considering getting rid of.
It's so interesting how many nuances there are, and it just speaks to your experience and your expertise to have a solution for everything and options, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, another option with that, bringing in the adult kids, sometimes for people to get rid of something, if they can tell its story, and I will often, if there's really cherished items, I will tell adult kids, videotape your mom or dad talking to you about this vase or talking to you about the story behind, this armoire, because then like oftentimes it helps the person who's getting rid of it, like kind of set it free by telling its story. And then as the adult children, you have this whole collection of stories that you can hold on to forever that really help tell, the lives of your parents and the things that were important to them. So that's another way to kind of preserve those memories.
Yeah, that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
So, how can people reach you if they want to get in touch? What would be the first step?
So the best way to reach me, well, you can always check out my website, which is consideritdone-organizing.com. You can reach me by email. My email is Jenn, JENN, at CIDORG.com.
I'll put links and everything in the notes for people too.
Perfect. And then my phone number, which is also on my website, is 617-300-9903. And also, follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Jenn, JENN, Gershon, GERSHON, all one word, _ consider it done. So find me one of those ways on my website, email, phone, or on Instagram. Love to connect, have a conversation, talk through more ideas and see how I can help you. I always offer a complimentary consultation and, love working with people in all stages of life.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And you guys, I'm Ashley Harwood with Fleet Homes at Keller Williams. We are local real estate professionals based in Newton and covering all of Greater Boston and Metro West. So, once everything's cleared out of the house, or even beforehand, or even well beforehand, if you're just curious what your house could sell for, please reach out. We also do complimentary consultations and evaluations, and can go in and give advice on, in terms of staging, what needs to happen with some of the items in the home and things like that. So reach out to both of us, and thank you so much for your time and wisdom today. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I know people that choose to list their home with you are in such good hands. It's a real team approach. So definitely top-notch realtor.
Thank you. All right, bye everyone. See you next time.